When you're doing a live show, there's always something that kind of mucks things up in the background. Sometimes we have technical issues on the broadcast transmission side, and other times, like today, we have other mechanical issues, like a steam one that has popped off the machine. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A. We're here every morning, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, talking about coffee and maybe sometime providing some kind of answer that may or may not suit your desires. How you all doing? Welcome back to the show. I was getting things ready today for our episode, and I came across this. This was I was moving it, cleaning it, preparing it, wiping it down, and the thing fell out of the machine. And here it is. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Dewan, good morning to you. We've got the steam wand, right? This is the steam wand, La Valentina E61 steam wand, and it's got its little gasket seal here, as well as the what do you call it? The spring, and the spring provides tension. And I'm not sure if we're actually going to get to the content we were looking for today. Let me just take a. Now that I have it apart, let me just use that as a thumbnail. But we're going to try to fix it and then move on to what we've been trying to do. Okay, so the E61 is the machine that we've been using here for a while. And you know what? I haven't always been fully committed to being very on schedule with maintenance. Mom, good morning to you. Maku, hey, how's it going? Good to see you guys. So we're going to have to come and take a look at it. So here's the machine. Whoops. Why is it? Oh, gosh, you must be kidding me. It's supposed to be plugged in. It's supposed to be feeding power. Why is it not feeding power? See, there's not just one technical issue. There's always going to be multiple technical issues that are just going to compound themselves on us. So let me just grab a couple batteries as well while I walk away. The whole thing about this camera setup is that the camera is supposed to be feeding directly into USB power, which it is plugged into USB power. Why it's not automatically feeding it is beyond my comprehension at the moment. So let's see what's going on with this guy. Anyway, it says its battery's out, so we're going to have to replace the battery anyway. Let's replace the battery. Using these cameras, these are ZV-1s from Sony, which are really fabulous cameras. I really like them. They're really compact, really easy to use. The only problem is these are very diminutive batteries, so the performance life is very short. Like these are not run all day batteries. These are like run maybe 45 minutes batteries, and you have to replace them. So I typically carry like 10 batteries with me when we're in the field. And of course, the angle that I have the camera mounted and the hardware that has been mounted is all this weird angles that's kind of difficult for me to get the shoe back in. There we go. Sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's easier. Right now, it's kind of in between. Okay, so camera's back on. Good. Always something. Is it going to come back? Give it to me, baby. Nothing. There we go. Okay. Sky Juice and Juicy Mo Juice. Aloha to you, man. Aloha to you. Sorry, you're coming on an episode that is going to be a little bit more. It's going to be less of what I've advertised because we are having significant. How does that look? Significant technical issues. Okay, better. So this is the La Valentina E61, and as you've seen already, the steam wand has come out. So now I have to figure out how to repair this and place it back in. And basically how it works is that there are three major pieces. There's steam wand here, And it comes with a brass connector threaded that looks in good shape. I'm just thinking that over the time, this has slowly backed out. Naomi's with us. Good morning, Naomi. I'm sorry I'll be missing this live stream since I'm leaving in 10 minutes. But okay, good. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Hopefully we'll have something worthy of watching. So this has a ball joint here at the top of the steam one. I don't think this comes apart, but anyway, this little cup here has a gasket, a little, whatever, not silicone, and that fits on top of here to provide the seal. And this allows you to swivel around, right? Now this spring sits on top of that, and when you screw it out, so this spring goes inside the tube, the steam tube, and when you seat this collar around the threaded spring to the steam tube, it all pushes together, and this spring creates a hard seal against that ball, and then also gives you the tension so that you can, move it and it'll hold it in place. Kind of simple and ingenious design. However, the difficult part of reassembling this now is that it's kind of far up in the head of the espresso machine. Like, I'm going to show you here. Can we see this? Let me just get everything running for you. Okay. Nope, that one. So under here, we're going to need a little bit more boost. Okay, that's where it goes. It goes right in here. Right, you can see that. So I need to thread this all into that port. The problem is the group head is right here. So as I was trying to do before, trying to get it done before the show started so we wouldn't even have this discussion, you keep hitting it. So it burns my hand while I'm trying to install it. So I had to run upstairs and get some tooling. So I got these Milwaukee gloves. And the nice about these Milwaukee gloves are a little bit padding on the back here to protect the back, which is where I'm hitting the group head. Naomi says you have your Mocha. And then it has this nice grippy surface. I got these actually at a hardware store last week for fairly cheap. They were on sale, so I was like, okay, this is very good, very good. And I really didn't have a need for them. I mean, it's nice to have these type of gloves because they're kind of like lightweight. They're relatively inexpensive, but they have this grippy pad, which is really nice for holding stuff and trying to, maintain them. Let me just clean this up here. So, as you get to working with espresso machines more and more, you get more tools, and I've got all kinds of tools that I use. But I've never used these gloves before. I've used cheaper gloves, the ones that you buy for like $1 that are also kind of rubber dipped. I think they're really great for just kind of general use. Naomi says they look like gardening gloves. Yeah, they're very similar to gardening gloves. I'll use almost anything. I use a lot of deerskin leather gloves. That's what I've used historically over the years, especially when I was still working in motion pictures. That was a really great choice. Lightweight, supple, really easy to be comfortable in, and great for protecting your hands. These are nice too. But this will hopefully allow me to have good tactile feel while also being able to. Let me just I'm trying to find a way to set this up so that you can see what I'm doing. And see as the misery, the sting of defeat comes over. Okay, let's switch here now. There is the camera. I'm going to take the group head out. Now, the difficult part is getting this piece in here. We have to get it in the hole. Getting the spring in the hole. Oh, I got it. All right, not too bad. Springs in the hole. Now we're going to try to seat this in there. Ideally, I should pull this entire front chassis off the fascia. Come on, baby. I'm using both hands to try to mash it up there, but man. Come on. The problem is I can't see it. So I'm just kind of working. What I'm trying to avoid is I would like to get this done, get this working. That's not working. Without having to shut it all down and tear it apart, which we may actually have to go to that level of repair because this is not happening. I can't get enough feel. Okay. I can't get enough leverage and I can't get enough feel on the machine. Now, then I say with the gloves are protecting my hands, but we can't get in there. So we're kind of, in this respect, we're kind of hosed. I wonder if I can just seat it without the spring. Okay, so it does seat. I wonder if we can get any kind of performance out of it, even without. If I turn this all the way up. So this is something for you guys who have espresso machines that are similar. And this is something I never even thought about because I'm mostly using La Marzocco machines, and La Marzocco machines have a whole different kind of setup, kind of. And I don't know. And I just never thought to check it. I never thought this would be backing out. That just didn't occur to me until it happened. Okay, so this is totally floppy. Like, this is not ideal. But let's see what happens if I hit the wand. I am getting steam, but I am getting some dripping. You know what? We may have a serviceable thing for today's show. This might actually work. Let me. You know what? Coffee is about adversity, right? Whether you're a farmer producing coffee in the coffee lands or a shop owner trying to forge his way against the behemoth that is Starbucks, it's always about adversity. So you know what? Nothing's going to be perfect. We're going to go for it and go with today's show. All right, let me take off the gloves. We're going to take off the gloves and throw down the gauntlet. Okay, so I got the camera here. We've got an extra camera just in case we need it. So welcome back to the show. Now today we are going, a couple weeks ago, Matt, a good friend of mine, who owns Park and Perk Coffee, he was taking his family up to Hershey Park. And I was like, dude, Hershey Park has these. Because years ago, I bought from my niece and nephew these huge Hershey Kisses. And I was like, dude, see if they still have them. And happily, he brought me one back from Hershey Park. The chocolate world at Hershey Park, they have this there. Anton says, coffee is about adversity, especially when you have to fight your Pietro grinder. Sometimes you just want to punt the Pietro, or I don't know, punting is a football term, like American football. You have to kick the Pietro grinder sometimes. And then Naomi says, servicing my machine in any way is no go for me. I lack hand strength and the necessary tools. I love watching it being done. Maybe we'll make a video about doing it. So I'll probably, after we're done today, I'll have to fix it. So I'll probably take it downstairs, take it up to the workshop, and maybe we'll do just a live stream of it. I'm just repairing, trying to figure out me getting upset. Okay, so this is it. This is it. The Hershey Kiss. Amazing. If you happen to watch the Coffee and Cigars live stream that I do on the Ono Live channel every Thursday night. I did the sister of this, the half-pound Reese's peanut butter cups. Amazing, truly amazing. I was drinking coffee with that and just having a grand old time. But I ate half of it. So I ate a quarter pound of Hershey's, of Reese's peanut butter cups. It was glorious with the Espresso 99 brewed in the AeroPress. It was glorious. Like, I couldn't believe it. But this is the 1 pound. Now, I've always been curious. Like I said, I bought this for my niece and nephew, one of each. And I got a link in the description in case you're interested in ordering one for yourself, which I would highly recommend. You should order one of these. Secretly, I was hoping to have a taste of theirs, right? Because I'm the uncle. I bought it for them. I thought maybe they'd open it and I'd get to be there when they ate it. However, that wasn't the case. So I've never had one. So Matt, brought this back, and I was like, oh, this is so amazing. And I mean, look at it. It's amazing. It's this big, massive Hershey Kiss. What more can you ask for? This is America. Again, this is a celebration of America. Right? Look at that. Anton says that I have a friend who, as a hobby, buys broken espresso machines, repairs them, and sells them again. I tend to do that not because I have a passion for espresso machines or coffee. I do that because I'm cheap. And I don't want to spend $15,000 on a new machine. So I went out and bought used machines and ended up repairing them. I bought this 2 group that I have, the one that I've been using most recently. I probably rebuilt that 2 times at least. It needs a 3rd rebuild. It's been through a lot. They get beaten out there. So if you ever think about buying a used machine, buy a La Marzocco Linea, the old ones with all the mechanicals, right? It is such a battle tank. Like, if you want to go crazy and buy a commercial machine for your home, I think those are battle tanks. Like, I mean, one time when I had to rebuild it, it was leaking. The groups were leaking. Everything's all like mucked up in it. You're like, oh, I can't believe this machine still operates. But it just plows through it and does a great job at it. Naomi says that I have mad respect for anyone who can take something broken and make it usable again. Typically, in my case, I'm taking something broken, making it more broken, and then trying to find a way to make it not so broken. Yeah, it looks like the big onion. Kind of like a big onion, doesn't it? Or rather, big garlic. Oh, big garlic. Garlic, onion. It does have that look, doesn't it? Sky Juice says I had a few cheaper ones, not worth fixing. Okay, yeah. I think that if you're going to fix a machine, you should buy a quality machine. Like, in the world of woodworking that I've been following, I found this guy in Philadelphia yesterday. He already sold the machine. He was selling this miter saw, the Festool Capex, which sells brand new for like $1,500. And he was like, I'm selling for $300. It's all messed up, but it works. And if you're willing to take a risk, and I was like, by the time I was able to mess it, he was like, I'm sorry, man, it's already gone. I was like, oh, $300, compared to $15. I was like, well, that's worth it. That's worth the risk. But if you can, get a nice quality machine, rebuild it, you can have a really fantastic deal. And the nice thing about these older, like La Marzocco's, these older machines, they're very mechanically very straightforward. So you don't really have to do a lot of electronics work with a lot of this. And like the La Marzocco's that have the volumetric dosing, they have a brain. I would just, if it wasn't working, I just call La Marzocco, send me a new brain, put new brain in, done. And don't worry too much about trying to capacitors and diodes or whatever is in there. I don't know anything about those things. Bad Boy RC, what's going on, man? My Bambino broke after 2 years. Now I'm using an AeroPress until I figure out what's next. Ooh, what would be next? La Marzocco Linea Mini, very nice, but very expensive. All those La Marzoccos, very expensive, but kind of nice. Matt uses those La Marzocco Minis for catering events, and I'm really surprised at how well they hold up. And because the design of the minis and the micros are significantly different than its commercial brethren. So I'm really, really surprised at how well they can hold up. Skyju says that, can I unblock your other account? I have no idea what your other account is, but let me know. Put them in the comments, and I will see if I have it even blocked. Bad Boy RC says Cafe Lot Robot, maybe. Ooh, nice. I don't know too much about that, unfortunately. There's a lot of machines and a gear that I don't really know much about because I only have so much bandwidth. And, you know, yeah, I'm bad at that kind of thing. I'm bad. All right, let's get into... Oh, Peter. Oh, Peter, man, how are you? Did I block your other account? I don't think I did. If I did, it would have totally been... It totally would have been by mistake, by some kind of booby error on my part. Let me see here. Let me see here, Peter. I'm trying to see where that would be under YouTube. And of course, the internet runs slowly. Oh. Huh. That is, oh, here, look, you'll see here. That is a surprise, man. I don't know how you ended up there, Peter. My apologies. We're going to take you off of that. Huh. That's a surprise to me, man. That's a surprise to me. My apologies. I don't know why that happened, but you're all good now. Capri's with us. Happy November 1st to you. I hope you've all had a chance to do what you do on All Saints Day. Go visit your relatives that are no longer with us. My cousins were reporting from the Philippines on our family chat that they've, you know, go to see their parents and our grandparents. And, you know, it's really nice to see that. Of course, I don't have much of that here, so not much to do here. So Bad Boy says that the Cafe Lot Robot is a manual lever espresso maker. I'm thinking no more electronics. Yeah, you know, the lack of electronics makes it a lot easier. Although there are certain aspects of, like, let's say that new Meticulous that to me seems kind of interesting. If you're willing to spend $1,800, and hopefully if ever that Duval company they can ever settle their stuff with Duval. Okay, so let's get this out of here, right? This is the Hershey Kiss. I'm actually super excited about doing this. This is like what I've been waiting for. Now, here's something I want, before I handle it, what I've been worried about is that what if it's hollow? Like I'm praying that this is one big solid block of chocolate, because that would be like a fantasy. It'd be like a fantasy come true, but we'll see. Oh, in the back here, we should look at the back here. A little bit back about Milton S. Hershey, the founder of the company in 1894. And what else is on here? Nothing else? Nothing else? Nothing really at the bottom. Just some QR codes. And, oh, it feels substantial. Look at that. Oh, look at that. That is pretty epic. That is just epic. You know what I need to do, man? You know what I need to do before we continue? What I need is a nice photo with I didn't take it out of this until now. So here it is. Oh, super epic. Super epic. Okay, so let us undress this kiss, right? Oh, I should put it. Yeah, it's good. The Woodcraft of Baltimore that I go to on a fairly regular basis has a stack of regular kisses. Ooh. And I always grab a couple because, oh, look at that. I'm going to keep this. Okay, so we're going to be a little bit. I'm going to be a little bit disappointed because see this seam that's here. This is indicative that this is not actually. It's actually hollow rather than being. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Sounds like I need to refill the machine a little bit. Here's something, like I said, with our IKEA series, I use this now as a little filling device to keep the reservoir topped up. Yeah, I can't really feel anything, so let's get into that. We're going to fill this. One of the problems with this reservoir, since it's behind the machine, I really can't see the fill level. So I kind of have to make my way by feeling it. Oh, darn it. There it is. It's overflowing now. Probably going to have a leak soon. Okay. Back to the kiss. Oh, my gosh. So amazing. So, because there is a seam, right? There's a seam here. It's got to be. Peter's with us again. Excellent, excellent. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. And thank you for taking a moment to use your other account to log in and let me know that we had an error, because that was totally inadvertent or unintentional. So I have no idea how that happened or when that might have happened, or did it happen yesterday or something? Okay, so because you can see the seam, we know that it's hollow. A little bit disappointing. And now that I'm holding it, it is a pound, right? It is a pound, right? Let's use our trusty fellow to see. Oh, let's go to a different mode. Let's go to our weight mode. Let's do it in milliliters, because you know what? It's supposed to tell us the volume. 471.2 milliliters. Oh, that's really, wow, that's pretty good. So let's go to, oops, not that. So this is the part that irritates me. Anyway, 471.3 grams. A pound is 453. So we're getting 20 grams more. So we're getting like, I don't know, another 5 kisses just in the, extra, which is exciting. Now let us see about, I have to bite it. Oh, it's still solid there. Look at that. Peter says, if it's solid chocolate, you won't be able to bite into it. It happened in the last 3 lives. Really? God, I wonder what it was. And Mocha says that, Peter, it wasn't Jay that blocked me. It wasn't I that blocked you. It was Elijah Craig. It probably was. Was that 3 episodes ago? Because, all right, so let us okay, why am I having this? What are we going to do with this? We're going to make a mocha with this Kiss, the Kiss mocha. Now, Hershey's makes 2 types of chocolate syrup. Well, mainly. They make a regular Hershey's chocolate syrup, which is kind of like this, from what I remember. But they also make something called the Special Dark, which is actually one of my favorite syrups. It's actually, when I first started in coffee, my mentor would make their mochas using this. And I was like, why are you using those? There's Guittard. There's all these other fancy chocolates. Why are you using Hershey's, of all places? Lowly Hershey's. He was like, you want to know why? Try it. It's like drinking Hershey's when you were young. And I was like, what are you talking about? So it made me a mocha. And I was like, holy crap, it's really true. So this is the dark. And the dark is, of course, darker, more brooding. But when you mix it with the milk in a mocha, it dilutes down so that it actually tastes more like a Hershey Kiss than if you actually took the regular Hershey's. Because if you took the regular Hershey's, which tastes like this already, and then you put it in a mocha with milk, it actually dilutes it more, and it doesn't have that richness of the kiss, right? So this will get you there. The regular one doesn't. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I used this for many years, for a few years at least, until I decided we're going to make our own ganache and make our own chocolate in-house. And that's what we did for the rest of the time. But today I figured, let's take this kiss and make a mocha out of it. So we're going to take the kiss, and I got to get my thing here. Bad boy sounds delicious. I hope we find success. I strongly encourage you to try this at home, because why not try it at home? Undoubtedly, there's going to be people within the coffee industry that are like, oh, why are you using something so lowly? It's considered to be some of the worst chocolate in the world. It's like blah, 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 blah. There's so much other chocolate. Yeah, I know. I've used Guittard, I've used Valrhona, I've used Noel, I prefer using Cordillera. But sometimes you just want the taste of youth. And if you grew up in America, especially during, our time, this is the chocolate that you grew up with. This is the chocolate that you know. This is the chocolate of America. I feel like I've been talking a lot about America lately. But this is it. And this gets you there. So, but we're going to try it, even though we know it's going to be a little bit diluted as far as the chocolate is, or we could just go heavier on the chocolate. But I wonder how, it does crack. Let's crack it open. Look at that. It does. I was hoping to be able to chop it up more, but this will be nicer for me to snack on while watching YouTube videos tonight. Okay, so what we got? We're going to take our Peter says you were in the car and you were fiddling with the screen. Oh, was that what? When was I in the car last? Was that when we were in? That was when I was driving down to Virginia. Was I going to Virginia that day? Oh gosh, yeah. That's what. I remember. There was something that I hit that I didn't understand. Like I noticed there was something as I was trying to do something, and it did something, and I didn't understand. And it didn't really give me, it just kind of changed. And I didn't know, maybe that's what it was. My apologies. And I'm glad you didn't just get all pissed off and be like, well, that guy's just a jerk off. I'm glad you came back and said, hey man, what's going on with that? Because I had no idea. I really had no idea. Okay, we're going to chop this up. Because what we want to do is we want to chop it up so that when we hit it with the milk, it will more readily melt. Now, I don't really know how much chocolate we should use. We're just going to use an amount of chocolate that maybe makes sense or maybe doesn't make sense. The more we chop it, the easier it's going to be to melt in the milk. And the reason I'm worried about that is because we only have a small window of time for it to melt, right? I think that's a good amount, but I think this needs quality control. So what we're going to do, we're going to make some espresso. Oh, and I also have to add more espresso because we've got espresso going on here. Moist Toenails, what's going on, man? Good to see you. And Bad Boy says that I'm glad I'm here because I just ordered Tonali Chocolate Milano from Morocco. Nice. Is it the syrup, or are you buying like the chocolate and making it? Because at Spro, we would always make our own syrup. After transitioning away from this, we went to buying couverture, which are the discs, right? And I prefer a brand called Cordillera Cocuy 70% cacao from a company, the Nacional de Chocolates of Colombia in South America. And they have this 70% dark chocolate that has a really nice kind of like cherry character to it, like a dark cherry, like you know, like a cherry cordial kind of thing that I really like. And so we've been using that for many years as our primary one. But, you know, depending on the purpose and the application, sometimes like one of my friends used Noel chocolate for his ice creams. Man, the flavor of that Noel in the ice cream was like, I loved it. I love Noel for their white chocolate. I love that flavor. There's also Valrhona, and there's so many chocolate manufacturers out there, especially when you get to the more artisanal type of things. Okay, so let's go here to the camera. It's a syrup. Okay, gotcha. Now, again, I haven't really done much. There is a little bit of coffee left in here. I think we're just gonna, no, we're not gonna, we're gonna get it out of there. We're gonna switch coffees right now because we only have this much left, so it's really a tiny amount. So I'm just gonna dig it out. Now, of course, you shouldn't do this. Yeah, good, it's not. Don't do this when it's not plugged in, when it's plugged in, right? Unplug your machine before you stick your fingers into the grinding burrs. Because, you know, it just, for some whatever reason, right, if it inadvertently gets turned on, you can kind of see the cable here, right? There's the cable for it. If it inadvertently gets turned on, you could be for an unhappy time. So if you want to do it with your hand, if you want to put your hands in here and clear it out while it's still plugged in, don't use your strong hand. Use your weak hand, right? If this is the hand you use for writing, use this hand. Right, that way, in case you accidentally turn the machine on, you can still go about your business. Okay, that's good. We're going to grind through all of that. Oops, I can't do it. Of course, I can't grind through it because it's not plugged in. Meanwhile, I'm going to add our Espresso 99. You can hear it's just grinding a little bit. There's still a little bit left. I'm going to open it up and let some coffee in. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because I want to push whatever residual coffee may be in the collar. I want to push it out. Now, honestly, I do this because I'm pretty cavalier about it. I guess I can't recommend this because, you know, I mean, I'm cavalier because, you know, when you're working in a professional environment, you've got like pounds and pounds and pounds of coffee to work with. And you're working in an environment where you're actually making money on your coffee. So your ROI is quite different than if you're a home enthusiast that's buying a pound of coffee at a time. You don't have the luxury of grinding through too much. So just grind a little bit, right? You just want to push what's in your grinder out so that it doesn't mingle, or let them mingle and just work your way through it. Like we did that with the last time we made the transition from the 99 to the House Nation. I just decided to go and push it all the way out. So now we're going to go and just, what are we doing here? Okay. We're going to clear out the hopper. I'm going to brush it up a little bit. Oh. It's the problem with old tools. They kind of fall apart. Everything's falling apart. Even the brush needs maintenance. Okay, we'll get rid of all that. Now we should be good to go. Bad Boy says the E61 group, does it taste better? Does it taste better? No. Honestly, no. I've had wonderful espressos from E61 groups, saturated brew groups from La Marzocco's, from Senesso's, I've had best espresso I've ever had in my career was made on a Flair 58. So it's not necessarily, we get wrapped up. It's easy in any pursuit. You get wrapped up in the tool, but really it's the pursuit. It's the craftsmanship. So for example, let's say like my latest exploration is going back to woodworking, right? We're working with woodworking tools. And I've got quite a large collection of tools that I built up over the years. A lot of DeWalt, a lot of Ryobi, a lot of Makita, all nice quality stuff. You can do very nice work with it. But lately I've been moving towards Festool, which is like the Lumberzocco of tooling. Wildly expensive, but really well engineered. Like the engineering is fantastic. Like I was using the track saw the other day, right? I borrowed a friend, Matt's track saw. And so but for the day before that, I was cutting with my own old DeWalt circular saw. And you know, this circular saw is a battle tank. It's been with me since like the 90s. I've made all kinds of stuff with it. Now that I'm older and thinking more about like my lungs are getting clogged with dust and I need to like try to live as long as possible, I'm thinking I need better dust extraction. I need better dust collection. I need better dust control, which the older tools have none of that. Festool is engineered for that. So I'm like, okay, now we need to make that transition. But it's more expensive. Now, in those cases, it does offer a technological advantage, right? And so when it comes to espresso machines, there are machines that will give you technological advantages as far as like controllability of your temperature, you know, the curve, the brew, everything about it. You can do all those things, but does an E61 group head deliver better coffee than, let's say, a Frappuccino? I would say no, not necessarily. It can, but it's all about the person operating the machine. It's all about your craft. Like I could buy all the Festool tools in the catalog. It doesn't make me a top-end woodworker, right? I still have to take that time to develop those skills, that craft, right? And just like with that, the coffee still requires you to you still have to learn the craft. You still have to execute at a high level in order to make. And if you're someone that has learned enough, have enough experience, you can go to any machine and work on it and make really nice coffee. So that's the key. It's not about the machine. It's about you. Now, the nicer machines make it easier. Like, for example, this E61 La Valentina, while it's not like, let me turn on this other camera here so you can see it a little bit better. While it's not it's not the modern day, oh gosh. Like it doesn't have like all this kind of electronics and variable pressure pumps and all this kind of stuff. What it does have is, you know, good, solid, basic design and construction and ease of use. So at the time that I bought it, it was $1,500. This is 20 years ago. Today, I think it's right around the same price, maybe $1,800. Now, at the time that I got into this one, you could buy a Rancilio Rocky or Sylvia. The Sylvia is the machine. And the Sylvia would work, but you know, you've got to work more. You've got to work harder at it. So that's going to be the difference, right? The difference is going to be the lower on the price point that you go, the more you're going to have to massage it, right? So it makes the journey more difficult. It's like it's like with a lot of different things. If you can spend the money on a higher quality machine, then definitely do it. Because that higher quality machine, the engineering, the design, everything about it's going to make it easier to work on, which makes it more enjoyable to work with, which means that you're going to want to do it more and you're going to want to enjoy that journey. You're going to be able to continue your journey. It's like, let's say musical instruments is a great example. Like when I started learning how to play ukulele back in Hawaii, there's a lot of cheap ones out there. Even today, there's many cheap ones. I ended up going and buying, my mentor at that time played this one brand called Kamaka, which was, you know, the premier ukulele at the time. It still is. It's still amazing company. Chris Kamaka is really an old buddy of mine. But I stretched, and it was a stretch to buy it. At the time, it was $600. And this is 1992. but the quality of the instrument, the fretboard, the way that it plays, the tonality was so enjoyable that I wanted to play more. So I was able to learn faster and more thoroughly because I enjoyed working with it. A machine like this is an enjoyable piece to have, which means that you're going to work more with it. That's where the advantage comes in. So does the E61 make better coffee than other ones? Perhaps. It's really about you. But the tool can make your journey more enjoyable, which typically means that you're going to want to do it more and you're going to improve faster. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I don't know. Moy says, I'm not staying for long. I'm studying for the biology paper on Monday. Okay, keep going with the studying, man. We'll be having more live streams for you to catch up on. Don't worry about it. But it's good to see you. We want to see you do well. Yeah, so, okay, let's make our espresso. Let's make our espresso. We're going to go here, and we're going to take our E61 group head. I can't lose these two parts because I had to work on that later. We're going to do a test shot. Flush our machine, make sure it's nice and temperature stable. That's good. Okay, so there's our coffee. Maybe a little bit high. We're going to distribute it around a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit high, but I just... And then now time for a little temp action. Get rid of all the excess grinds. One more flush. I like to do that just because I don't know anything else. And lock it in place. Brew. I always like to brew straight away. I don't want to let it bake. Uh-oh. A little bit more thicker, but still looking good. Still looking good. Another piece of chocolate for me. Little reward. Look at that. I think it's time to stop. Ooh, actually, this stage. Look at that. That, Daddy, is what we're talking about. Holy moly. We talk sometimes about like what I like in espresso. This is really what I like. Look at that. It's getting nice and thick. What's going on, Daniel? How are you, man? We got the roving cam just for the day because we had a little bit of technical issues. Look at nice dark reddish brown crema with dark brown flecking. Gosh, that is pushing on like super classic espresso looking stuff. And a little bit on the shorter side, so it's nice. It's gonna be nice and thick. Let's see. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm looking for. Wow. Thick, rich, syrupy. There's sweetness. There's a little bit of fruit. There's bitterness. Man, you could just feel that the flavor will be lingering. Kind of that walnut, nutty kind of finish. Oh. Okay, so when you talk about a espresso that I like, maybe this will be different than you like, because some people just don't like this style of espresso, but man, rich, thick, body. Oh, man, this is what I'm looking. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, now here's something for you to those of you who come on regularly. How many times do I finish this first shot? How many times do I actually finish the shot of espresso? That's how much I'm enjoying that one. All right, let's have a look at our puck here. We're going with Rovcam. Rovcam looks nice, good impaction, nice and clean. Should be pretty dry. Yeah, good, solid. We're going to knock it out. So a little bit on the over-extracted side, you can see that there is this, a little bit of residual oils. Rinse this all out now. Then we're going to let it drip dry. We're going to let it drip dry. Okay, nice. Okay, so let us go back here. We're going to take our latte cup, 12 ounce, and we're going to fill it with some of our chocolate. I want to get a lot more of the smaller particles in here because we want that stuff to melt. We're going to use the heat of the espresso. See, like, here's my concern. Like this, pieces like this that are this big, they may be too big. And if they're too big, we should not introduce them to the palace that will be our mocha. Okay, we want more. We want more fines. Okay, good. Put this aside. And we've got our mocha here. Now, I'm just putting whatever. I don't really know if this is the right amount or the wrong amount. We're just trying it out because, we're just enjoying ourselves today. Now, got some milk here. Went to the fancy grocery store yesterday and got this fancy milk. This is cream line milk from a company called Daily Crisis, Cream line whole milk. And if you're not familiar with cream line whole milk here in the United States, it means that it is non-homogenized milk. So there are milk fats in milk solids that will, separate from the milk. So milk will be put through a process of homogenization where they press them. The milk's harvested from cows. The milk is then separated from the milk fat, right? The cows, I think, have around 4% milk fat. They separate them. These are like, Jersey cows, grass-fed, blah, 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 blah. They separate those two out because they're going to use some of that fat to make, things like half and half, heavy cream that have 10 and 35% milk fat. Whole milk has about 3% milk fat. Skim has no milk fat, and low fat has about 2.5%. So they'll take that skim. So they're basically making skim milk. They make it all in a skim milk and hold the fat separately, and then they blend it back in, depending on the product they're making. While they're blending it back in, like this is, let's say, 3.5%. They're going to, not this one, but regular milk. They're going to push those together through a screen to create homogenization, where the globules of fat will now be fully emulsified and suspended in the skim milk, so they don't precipitate and fall out. This cream line is not like that. This cream line is not homogenized in that way. So if you let it sit around, it will have a milk fat just rise there, and you have to kind of shake it. So we're going to get our pitcher. We're going to pour out some milk here. This should be really nice quality milk. I've actually not used this Daily Crisis before. Peter says, do have Lindt balls in the U.S.? I dropped a Lindt chocolate ball. My aunt is really into those Lindt balls. Like, she always has them at her house. We were at her house last weekend for my uncle's 1-year death anniversary. He passed away a year ago. So we had his remembrance, his 1 year. And so we went at the house after, and she always has the Lindt balls. And there's a gold one. I grabbed a couple of the gold ones, and I didn't know what they were. I only had one. Last night, I'm sitting around like, I could use a little sweet. So I found the gold ball, opened it up, and I was expecting like a chocolate, but the gold are white chocolate with white chocolate interiors. And it was really nice. It reminded me like of a vanilla ice cream. I was really enjoying it, but I was thinking, man, I should have put this in an espresso and pulled it on top of it. I bet it'd be amazing. So yeah, I totally hear you on that. I think that would be amazing. And Dana says, my friend owns a chocolate company called Shama or Siama or Siama. My apologies. And they have a coffee crunch bar with Thai coffee in it. Ooh. I think it'd be great in a sharp espresso. That sounds good. Maybe like in the Philippines, we have this thing called pinipig. Pinipig is kind of like puff rice that we use in Nestle Crunch or something. That would be kind of fun. Maybe chocolate-coated pinipig in your mocha. That could be interesting. Peter says, you might have Festool, but use bad timber. You haven't seen my latest project, have you? Maybe you have. I have this, I built this heater cart for the winter. And I just use whatever I had lying around the garage, which is this underlayment grade, so subfloor grade plywood. It's all like hemajang. You're like, what is this ugly thing? I tried to do a little bit of bondoing to make it smooth in certain parts, or to fill in some of the knot holes. But if it from afar, from like 10 feet away, looks pretty cool. If you get really close to it, you're like, oh, it's kind of janky. It's kind of janky. So yeah, Festool does not make janky wood into beautiful wood. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the espresso to heat and melt our coffee. And then we're going to stir together to combine, to try to get it to fully combine. And then we're going to hit it with some milk, stir a little bit more, and then pour the rest. But I'm going to hold off on, because of the nature, because we're in this solid form. I will prepare the milk after. Plus, also, I don't know what's going to happen with the janky steam one today, so we're going to have to work on that. All right, let's go to it. Here we go. We're going to get our portafilter, make sure it's flushed a little bit. Good. Grind. Oh, that's too much coffee. Another project I'm working on is a knockbox restoration, but the knockbox is really pretty. Of course, I did not make the knockbox originally, so that's why it looks pretty. Okay, we're going to go in, and then we're going to go in with our shot. Lock and load, and pull that on there directly. And let's go to the other camera, our flight cam, so you can see down in here. There it is. Look at that. Gosh, is it focusing on the right spot? Come on, baby. Oh, you're just a disappointment. Okay, that's good. We're going to stop there. Come back now. We're going to look at that shot. Looks nice, huh? Looks nice. That's what Daddy's like. That's what Daddy's asking for. Bad Boy's asking, are you an 80s child? I am. Well, I was born in 1969, so I came of age in the mid-80s and partied very, very hard at nightclubs through the late 1980s. 86, 87, 88. I was partying hard. By the time I moved to Hawaii in the end of 88, I had almost been totally partied out, and I hadn't even turned 21 yet. Okay, so you see it melted really easily. So now it's totally hydrated. Now we're going to go back now and steam our milk using this. I don't even know how we're going to control. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. We're going to hold this here. Let's get this out of our way. If you're just joining us, the spring and gasket popped out because the whole arm came out just this morning. And we're going to go for it. Well, no, this might be actually better than... Listen to the way it screams. Right there should get us to about 170 degrees. There's actually a sound that the coffee or the milk will make when you get to the temperatures that you're looking for. Okay, so now we've got that here. Let us look. Not as much stretching as I would like, but this is fully melted, so let's go into it and see if we can get any kind of... Oh, no, there's not enough. I didn't get enough foam. Oh, sorry. Sometimes you just get anomalous. anomalous non-foam. But really, it's about the flavor, right? It's about the flavor. And if this is a to-go cup with a lid, you wouldn't have to worry so much about it. All right, let's taste. Oh, yeah. Now, it doesn't have... It's very light and very milky. It's like milky chocolate. It doesn't have the oomph that this special dark would have. If we use a special dark, it would then more taste like eating this. Where this is really more like has the flavor of eating this while drinking milk. So still fun, but not as fun. But it's nice and sweet. And you know what? If you have this big 1 pound kiss, the nice thing is that if you drink this and you think to yourself, hey, you know, I don't really feel like I'm getting enough chocolate, you just grab this and just augment. And if you're like Bryant that's seen both last night's live stream and this one, you're probably thinking, God, he's going to get diabetes. Last night we were trying the half-pound Reese's peanut butter cups, which were utterly ridiculous. But interesting enough, you'd think with a half-pound Reese's peanut butter cup that it would be some kind of imbalance to the flavor, but it was like eating a small one, like just the right amount of peanut butter to chocolate, even in that huge format. So surprising. Peter says the OxyClean fixture. It always does. It always does. Just don't get the scented. Definitely don't get the scented. Bad Boy says, I'm a little bit later, 1976. That's cool, man. My one girlfriend, 1981. Which always seems to upset some of my other friends. So you tell them they date a girl that was younger, they get all mad. Like, that's not right. Like, why? I'm not mature enough for girls your age, for age-appropriate girls. Oh, I just cut the top off to see. So you can see that there is the point where it meets. Now, if this, Hershey, if you're watching this, if you could release one that's maybe 3 pounds, same size, but fully thick, that would be, I'd buy one, even if you charge me $75. Just for the epicness of having it. All right. Well, we had some disaster and some success. But now that what I want to have to do to fix this machine is I'm going to have to like take it apart more and actually chill it down. So maybe what I'll do is maybe whenever I get to doing that, maybe I'll try to get it on the weekend at some point. If I do that, maybe we'll do an impromptu live stream as I build it, and we can just kind of go through it slowly. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Glad you're here. Peter, I'm glad we got to settle that issue. I really didn't know that. I'm sorry about that. But I'll be back again on Monday with more coffee Q&A. Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I will know by then. Oh, thank you, Bad Boy. I appreciate your subscription. I always appreciate that. So Devin, Maku, Peter, Dana, Bryant. That was you, Brian. Naomi, when you come back to watch us. All right. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and see you next time.